Ever. Okay. And the show shall start. Welcome to Try Again, a movie club. Each week we review a movie that we're either watching for the first time or one of our old favorites to see if it holds up. This week's the Movo, can't tell I'm reading from a script. This week's movie is Coco from 2017. I'm your host, Todd Perkins, and I'm joined. My spelling is horrible. I'm joined by my lovely wife, Jessica, right here in the middle, front and center, and our friend, a mutual friend of many, many years, Paul Riding. What's up, Paul?
What's up?
Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Coco. So, we're going to start out. The first thing is to discuss our review scores of Coco. But before that, I was looking up statistics. This is just news of Try Again podcast. I was looking up our statistics on the show. And as it turns out, we have more viewers in another country than we do in the United States. Okay, so let's see how well the stream is going, and let's have everybody guess what country is the most popular country to view our show or listen to it rather. Paul and Jess, you guys can guess. There is a country that the more people watch the show or listen to it. It's from the audio version. Than the United States. The most popular country
London.
for Try Again. London is not England. A country. England. Okay, that's Jess's guess. Paul, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, but hold on one sec.
Okay.
I'm just on a phone call over here. Cool. Thanks. Sorry, I'm out at my dance venue. Well, is this now is this YouTube views or is this on the actual podcast channel or?
This is in the iTunes downloads, so through our podcasting app. So it's okay. Not the video podcast; it's the audio only podcast.
Going with Canada.
Jess says England. Paul says Canada. Will says Korea. Steven says Japan. Emily says Canada. And the winner is somebody actually guessed it.
Holly says Venezuela.
Holly says Venezuela. I didn't see that one yet.
Missed it.
I missed it. Japan. Japan is the country where our show is the most popular.
All right. Thanks.
Listen to this. Listen to the statistics. Out of all of our locations where people download the show, Japan is 44.3% of all downloads come from Japan, followed by United States at 39%, and then Germany at just under 4%. And the UK is the next country at 1.5%. So,
oh man, I really sucked at that.
The Japanese folks really like our show.
And how many downloads is that? Or is that
not a lot?
Not a lot. Out of the Japan has 8,449 downloads of the show.
That's a lot. Are you kidding me?
That's know.
Awesome.
I don't know. I figured it wasn't that much.
I feel like that's
not for one show though, for every show we've ever done in our lives.
Yeah, with 80.
No, but still, you've only done, how many shows have you done?
82.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is episode number 83. But still,
it's awesome.
Japan.
Impressive.
So shout out konnichiwa to you, our Japanese listeners. Thank you for tuning in. We love you and appreciate all your support.
Steven says they've probably never seen a redhead before.
So racist. Don't bag on our most loyal audience, all right?
They're downloading for Todd's looks alone. Even though it's audio.
I love that. I love that.
Makes sense.
Japanese folks, I am playing Monster Hunter. I love it. I'm sure you are too. You can message me. I'll play Monster Hunter with you. Okay.
That's racist. Todd.
What? It's not racist. It's super popular in Japan. They love it.
Stereotype.
Okay. So anyway, on with the show. I just thought that was some weird news I had to announce. Okay. So, review score. Just give your score, and then 1 minute tops, 30 seconds ideally. Why you're giving it that score. Okay, okay. Paul has seen the movie before. Jess and I watched it for the first time this weekend, so just a few days ago. So it's
Cinco de Mayo.
We watched it on Cinco de Mayo, and we ate tacos and cultural appropriation and all that stuff.
I listened to it on the drive down to my dance venue too.
Oh, dang!
Wow.
Okay, Paul is
just listening.
Paul is way into it. Okay, let's start with Paul, and then we'll go to Jess, and then I'll finish it up. So, what'd you think of it, Paul?
Okay. Is it? I don't. Is the score out of 10?
It's out of 10. We do quarter points if you want to do up
5 points. You're like, ooh. For me, it's like a 10 out of 10. It is. This is like premium movie material for me. For me, I think that it's like a return to form for Pixar. I haven't loved most of the recent Pixar movies, but to me, this is just as good as like Finding Nemo, Toy Story. People hate Ratatouille, but I love that movie. But like it is like perfect. I think that Pixar puts out perfect cinematic experiences, and I love Coco. I love the storytelling, acting, music. I was like trying to find something that I could be really critical of, and I couldn't. I love Coco. So
dang. 10 out of 10 from Paul. You know, it's funny. We have one trier. I asked on Facebook what score you'd give it. And we had one person say, our friend Willis, 4 out of 5 stars. So 8 out of 10. And friend Sochi gave it a 10 out of 10 also. And she said it's perfect. It's amazing. It's really touching for her. Jess, what'd you give it?
Gosh, I'm still like debating, but I think I'm gonna go with 8.75 or
All right.
9 because
0.75. Okay.
because I gave It's a Wonderful Life a 9. I should have just given It's a Wonderful Life a 10, and then I feel like my whole scale would be. Anyways, we don't need to go into that.
Yeah, you just revise it right now to being a 10. It's a 10.
It'll be a 9. It'll be a 9 for me.
This movie is a 9. It's a Wonderful Life is a 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. I really liked it. I'm not like one of those people who can watch animated movies over and over and over. Like, I don't think an animated movie could ever be like my favorite movie, except for Beauty and the Beast. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm like kind of picky in that sense, but it was a really good movie. And I like how they portrayed the idea of like the afterlife or whatever, and I liked all the cultural stuff in it. I don't know, it was good, and it made me cry, which I'm like basically a robot. I don't have emotions very often, so that was like, whoa. I mean, I know it made everybody cry, but making me cry is like a feat. Anyways.
All right. She cried. It was a 9. I am there with you. I actually cried during this movie. I don't think I've ever cried. I don't think I've ever cried during any movie in my entire life. I'm serious. I haven't ever. Not even once. It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite movie of all time, and I like hold back tears the whole time. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I know you. I knew you were a big fan because of the wedding. We went to your wedding and it had that theme, right?
Yeah.
Your invitation had the theme. Because you were in that play together
on stage. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, sidetrack.
No, you're allowed to bring that up.
I love that movie.
Yep, favorite movie of all time. Every time I watch it, it confirmed. We watch it every Christmas, and I'm like, this is the best movie of all time. I think that's why this movie resonated with me so much, because it had so many like morals and themes. I didn't. I think I'm gonna give it a 9.25, 9.5, somewhere in there.
Stop laughing at ours. Stop.
Quarter points. If I have to give it a solid point, I'd give it a 9. It was so good. Like even at the beginning, I was like, just like the artwork here is just amazing. It's beautiful, like better than all the other Pixar stuff I've seen. I really liked that it's on Dia de los Muertos. I don't know, Day of the Dead, whatever it's called in Spanish. Anyway, I like that because it's something that I'm not very familiar with, and it was also cool. You know, it's like if it gets points for not being familiar, but it's better because it's just good. You know, and I also liked that it was fantastical and not just a straight up real story. I really liked all the characters. I liked all the messages that it had. Like it had messages about
lots of
like, and I think that's why like It's a Wonderful Life resonates with me so much, because it's about friends and like, you know, life is worth living and family. Yeah. And this really resonated with me with that too, because it was like, okay, it's about, you know, learning about your family, learning truth when maybe you think something is true and it's not really true. And following your dreams, but I don't know, there's a lot of like a balance of following your dreams and being loyal to your family too. And I think this movie it hits all those so perfectly, and it's something that I thought about a lot after I watched it. So yeah, maybe a 9.5. I mean, it's a masterpiece. I think that I like this better than any other Pixar movie, like hands down. It's a masterpiece. What are you saying, Paul? Sorry.
Wow. Well, I was kind of today I was thinking about the difference between, because it's very much about, you know, follow your dreams.
Yeah.
But if you've seen what's it called? La La Land?
I have not seen La La Land.
Oh, okay. Then I won't spoil anything. You should review that sometime, because that's another controversial one.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like making people mad, you know? People watching the show is fun.
Both movies are about following your dreams, and I'll leave it at that. Okay. Because I will spoil it if I say anything more.
It's like a different take than this movie, I take it.
Yeah. I mean, I love the family values in this movie. Like, it's like family values, and just like there's so much joy packed into one movie. Like, it's just like everything is so joyful. Even like when they start the film off, and it's like they're kind of telling
banners.
Yeah, they're telling kind of a crappy story, but it's like portrayed in such a way. It's like, well, this happened and we're past it, and this is how we live. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's really cool.
Yeah. Speaking of following your dreams, going back to that is one just overdone message that I think always sucks. And I think that's why I like this movie, because I was like, it's just going to be one of those stupid follow your dreams movies. But it wasn't that. It had a lot of surprises in it. I think we can safely go into spoiler territory now. If you haven't seen it, this is something that we've all given over a 9. Our lowest score on this is a 9. So we all love this movie. I highly recommend seeing this movie. If you give a crap about family at all.
If you're a human being.
Yeah, if you're a human being connected to a family, it's just great. It's great. But it's not that crappy, generic, heartwarming BS. Like the emotion, like I said that I cried, and I feel like they earned it. You know, it's like, I feel like a lot of other movies, like every Pixar movie tries to get you to cry. And I'm always like, this is some weak crap, dude. This is not cry material. And I felt like this really earned it. Like, you know, at the climax or toward the end of the movie, I was like, oh, dude, I know exactly what's going to happen, but I can't hold back the tears. You can totally predict like the last few minutes of the movie, but by the time you get there, you don't predict it from the beginning. You know, by the time you get there, you're like, okay, the next minute is going to be this, and it's going to be really emotional. And it still got me, you know?
I actually cried multiple times. The first time, like in theaters, I cried at, I think, 3 different spots.
Wow.
But I'm a movie crier. Like
it's normal. Oh man, we got a Trier comment. Robin says, my husband cried at the end of this movie. It was so sweet. Holly says, is it too sad to show for our first grade drive-in? None of us have seen it, but we thought it would be good. It's not sad. It's not sad.
It's like a tender cry, not like a this is so depressing and sad cry.
I don't think there's anything in the movie that's sad at all. I think.
I actually, on that topic, I love how they approach death in this movie. Like because Dia de los Muertos is like part of the culture. It's like it's cool that it's not really a scary thing. They approach it with like this is part of life, and we should rejoice in this as well. Like it's really cool.
I think that's cool too. I remember like, I don't know, 15 years ago going to a thing at the college, and when that was like my first introduction to Dia de los Muertos, and it was like, oh, like it's cool that they make a celebration out of it, out of something that like in America or probably a lot of other countries, I feel like is like a really taboo, sad kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. And the what's it called, a frenda or whatever, the thing with all the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the shrine to all the people. It's like cheesy when you first look at it, but by the end you're like, I get why they do that. It's you know, they have all these.
Oh, go for it. Big sales pitch for doing your family history, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. You know, it's like I have never really looked. I read some stories that my sister looked up at a certain time, you know, about things about my ancestors. Like I had like a great grandpa that was like delivered by a slave.
Oh, sweet.
So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
Not.
I mean, not that my ancestors were slave owners. That's not the cool part, you know. Anyway, there's interesting stories.
My ancestors were polygamists, so it's
yeah, like, exactly. You know, we all have weird crap, you know. And yeah, I think with this too, it's like, okay, maybe you heard stories about your ancestors and thought they're crappy people, but maybe you misunderstood them, or maybe you're missing important details or something like that. I think it really just makes you think and want to research that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, we got some more Trier stuff. So the teachers will be crying, says Holly. Absolutely, yes.
If I cried, you'll cry.
Yeah. I cried. I've never cried in a movie in my life, and I cried. Jordan says, tears. My 4 and 7-year-olds both loved it. Laurel says, this movie totally made me a wannabe Mexican. No racism on the show, Laurel.
Okay, speaking on that a little bit. So my best friend, and like Jessica knows it, my best friend in high school was like straight up illegal alien Mexican. That like he actually got deported in high school and didn't come back till like after his mission.
Oh yeah, I think I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm Jose.
Yeah.
But with like I was over at their house every day after school, and like I kind of became part of their family. And especially now with all my siblings are marrying, not all of them, but they're mostly marrying Latin people of Latin descent. And like, it's so cool to see so many things in this movie that are straight up out of that culture. Like it is genuine, like respect. It's not like let's laugh at this culture. It's like, this is, I mean, you know, even it's a more widely known one, but when she takes her chancla and she's like,
oh yeah, the chancla is awesome.
She's like, you know, it's like everything is so, and I've actually heard this is like one of the highest grossing films in Mexico.
Wow.
Because people like loved it so much.
That is awesome. More Triers. Good. Dang. Marta says, speaking of people married to Latin folks, Marta says...
She's not yet.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough. Hi, Marta.
And he's straight up from Mexico.
Yeah. Marta says, love, love, love the movie. Also love that it was so culturally accurate. Made Mom and I want to do family history. Huh. Yep. Jordan says, what a cute story.
I think he was talking about Jose being deported. It's not really a cute story.
Oh yeah,
cute story.
My best friend was deported.
Everybody in the yearbooks put free Jose. You remember that?
I do remember that.
Free Jose. Oh man. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. Kayleen says, just being controversial, but she goes on to quote the Bible, honor thy father and thy mother. And she says, this movie would not have happened if he followed his parents' wishes. Just saying. Laurel, the culture is cool. It's a compliment. All right.
Okay, can we talk about like all the different like messages? Not messages, but like morals, I guess. I don't know. There were so many
there were a
different
lot.
things that I feel like.
And I feel like the bravest, just before we go into that, it's always, this is why I hate follow your dreams, because I feel like everybody wants to have that be the moral. And it's not a bad moral. It's just so generic and so overdone. It's dumb to me now, you know? And nobody wants to do like the 1940s movies like It's a Wonderful Life, where they have like this really meaningful thing that you think about after the movie and that like actually kind of changes your life. You know? Mm-hmm. And I feel like this movie went for that and succeeded. Anyway, Jess, you can go on with your stuff. Sorry.
Oh, no, my phone just died.
Uh-oh. I can read comments.
Oh, you can?
I can with my eyes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. There were so many. Like, towards the beginning of the movie, I was like thinking that like one of the lessons that I got out of it, or like one of the things that it was, I don't know, is like that just because someone did something bad and they happened to be affiliated with, well, like how the great grandfather left his family for music, and then all of a sudden their entire family is not allowed to listen to music or make music. And I feel like that happens so often. Like families will be like, this bad thing happened in the past with this certain person, or they'll hear stories from friends or family of something bad that happens, and then all of a sudden like they make weird rules about things that are off limits. And I thought that was kind of interesting, like that, like it's not the music that made him be a bad person, not that he was bad. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the choice that he made. Anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, by the way, we're getting into spoiler territory, so if we might bring up spoilers. Just brought up some minor ones.
Spoilers.
Okay. Jordan says, I haven't seen the movie, but sometimes parents are dumb. Marta says, totally agree. So some word I don't understand.
Polly?
I love that it brings out the beauty and the cultural. Yes, everyone in Mexico loves it. I am reading what you wrote, Marta. I am reading what you wrote. Don't be mad at me. Don't chocolate me.
English is now her second language.
Jen says Sierra was permitted to watch it at a zone conference because she could talk with the Mexican people about family history. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Huh. Okay. Any other morals or things that you guys want to bring up, or any other stuff? Morals while we're on the subject of morals, but after that, move on to their stuff.
Should I stop talking, or because I've got them for days?
Yeah, go for it.
Another one was just like, so his family made this assumption, you know, he left his wife for music, but he was going to return, you know, his heart was in the right place. And his wife, and then therefore family for decades, made this assumption, maybe not decades, I don't know. Anyways, that he was like this bad person that deserted his family. And I feel like the message I got from that was like, sometimes you can destroy relationships over something really small that's just a misunderstanding. That's, you know, like if you knew their side of the story, it would not be what you're thinking it is. And I think that's a huge deal. I mean, it ruined their family they had this hatred in their family for years, and that happens all the time with friendships and relationships. And just don't assume the worst in everyone, you know?
And then communicate.
Yeah.
Communication, yes. Unless you're dead.
So you get murdered.
Unless you're dead.
Poor guy. They backed on him because of the chorizo. I guess he didn't even know that he was murdered, did he?
He didn't. Not until, yeah.
No, he didn't know. Didn't find out till the afterlife.
That would suck. Let's see. Robin says, fundamental attribution error. Good point, Jess. Holly, spoiler away. I'll cry either way. Yeah, it's probably true. Probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you're gonna predict the most emotional part. It's very obvious what's going to happen, but it will make you cry.
I cried listening to it again. Like I was in the car, like getting off the freeway in tears. I'm like, what?
I can totally
the
picture
song
that.
at that part.
I know, dude. The feels are reals on that one. Jen says, I love that message too. Marta says, yes it is. Sorry, my English sucks. Or just some light teasing, Marta. Mary says, not a lesson from the film, but one of my favorite things about this movie is that the music is part of the storyline. It's not just an added thing. It's essential to telling the story, so it's a musical Andy can actually enjoy. Yeah.
I think in the theater at the very beginning of the film, but in the theater at the very beginning when the bell lands on him, like I was the only one who bursted out laughing.
Really?
Like,
that was hilarious.
Todd loved that.
I was like, it was so funny.
There's just a guy like Ricky Ricardo, doing this little bit, and a bell falls on him,
And then the fact that like his second death was also from a bell was pretty sick.
Yes, that was so funny.
And it's just like so self-aware too. Like it's like, okay, we're being super cheesy. Let's drop a bomb on it. Like it's
dude, that was great. Another moral that I got out of it was kind of like idolizing and worshiping people, and that, not being the people that you worship may not be what you think they are. I thought that was a kind of interesting thing too. The kid like idolized this guy. He wanted to play his guitar. He broke into his tomb, all this stuff. And it's like he ended up being a total dirtbag. So I thought that was a kind of interesting thought.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that one.
Yeah. There really is a lot in this like animated movie.
And it wasn't even that long.
It wasn't that long. And there was
like hour 20,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. Normal short length of a movie, and it was just, there was a lot of deep stuff, a lot of good humor, like the stupid dog, you gotta love the dog.
I was worried about him being super annoying. Not annoying at all. It was just like he's just around.
Yeah.
I love, this is like not dog related at all, but Coco, like when they first showed her face, the art was so amazing.
I felt exactly the same thing. I was like, this is beautiful. Holy crap.
It's amazing. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was just like probably the first thing I noticed that I was like, holy crap, this movie is amazing so far.
Also,
it's
I didn't even. Oh, go for it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't even know who Coco was, so I guess I missed the beginning, like who they said Coco was. I was like, who was Coco? Because the movie is called Coco, but it's really about the great grandson of Coco, And well, you find out at the end it comes around, but the name of Coco ends up being a pretty cute thing. I thought, like,
yeah, well, it's like. It's almost like Star Wars. It's like the whole movie's about Luke, but really it's about, or the whole series, I guess, it's about
Darth
Vader.
Yeah.
Anakin.
It's like we don't use that.
Well, they used it in the good Star Wars. They just ruined it in the bad
Yeah,
Star
but when
Wars.
you say Anakin, it kind of acknowledges that the prequels exist, which is a sin.
It's true.
Oh, man, we got a lot of triers chiming in. Shall we check in with the triers?
No, sorry, Trier. No, I'm just kidding.
We got a lot. All right, here we go. Jen, I love that the movie was intricate but simple at the same time. Agreed.
Yeah.
Amy, I just have to say that the tiger dragon thingy was super random.
I
loved it though.
It was cool.
It was pretty random, but it was cute.
It was
not like in a drug feeling kind of way, but just in like a
Mexican culture way.
Culture kind of way.
Oh my gosh.
Also,
he was like a more aggressive version of Toothless. From
yeah. A terrifying version.
Oh man. Holly says it sounds like we should show it at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
And do millions of life lessons throughout the year. Yeah? Hey?
I'm still doing the interview thing.
I thought it was about Conan O'Brien. Coco. Hashtag Team Coco. Robin says, Jordan. Yeah. Robin says, I didn't see this movie for a long time because I thought it was going to be like the Book of Life. Oh, that was like a talking dog movie, something.
No, it's similar. Like, it's about Dia de los Muertos. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Huh. Let's see. But it was so much better and not a copycat. Any thoughts on the timing of these movies coming out or studios making similar sounding movies? Marta says, okay. And the scene where Miguel plays the guitar for the first time. Beautiful. When does he play? Oh, is he playing with
in his little hideout?
Is it in his hideout or is it with the mariachi guy? No, he doesn't play for the mariachi guy, right? He's about to.
Hideout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's like really watching the TV, and it's like, totally cool.
He's playing the chords along with it.
Cool.
So good. Such a good movie. I mean, we could probably talk about it for another hour. I mean,
but we're not going to.
We're not going to. Triers. do not lose faith. Let's go to random. Are you guys okay going to random questions? I'm not keeping track of the time here, but it feels like. Oh yeah, we're about 30 minutes plus into the show. Okay, let's go into random questions. And oh crap, I lost my questions. Anybody remember their question? I remember mine, so I can hit it. I can start. Well, whatever. Whatever.
Now it is a secret question.
Yeah, I know. Secret questions. Okay, I'm gonna start with my random question, which is, what change could you make that would ruin the movie? Paul.
Hold on, I got this question when I was driving down.
You got me first.
Embarrassment.
Yeah, you go. Embarrassment.
Okay, Jess, why don't you go?
So, so many options, but I thought, so the movie proceeds as normal. He goes to, what was the guy's name that he was obsessed with?
Can't remember. He's Ricky Ricardo in my mind.
Something de la
Cruz. De la Cruz.
Yeah. So all of that stuff happens. He finds De La Cruz. He finds out that De La Cruz had murdered Hector, and all that stuff happens. And then he finds out that Hector is like his real dad. But then when Hector tries to send him back to the world of the living, it doesn't work. And then De La Cruz reveals that he's actually his illegitimate child. So his dad
with the mom, with the actual mom.
Oh my gosh.
So the mom is a scumbag. De La Cruz is his dad, a murderer. And the guy is just some random guy.
I feel like you can't even beat that.
I know. Mine was like really similar to that, but super lame in comparison. I was just gonna say De La Cruz is really his dad.
No.
Oh, that's a big spoiler, by the way. A movie destroying spoiler. Paul, do you got an answer?
I don't have a good answer. I was just gonna, when the boy is falling at the end, he actually just falls to his death.
You have all this investment.
We're all invested in it, and then it cuts to nothing being resolved in the living world. Coco just dies, doesn't ever get to.
Or how about this? He sings "Remember Me" to Coco, and her skin melts off, and she turns into a giant demon and kills everybody.
How do you come up with that crap?
I don't know. Okay, let's see.
Wait, that was yours? That was legit yours?
That was mine that I just made up as you guys were talking. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, I just thought of a good one too. What if Coco, he starts singing that song at the end of the film, and Coco denies it. She's like, that dirtbag, and she just gets angry and has a heart attack and dies.
Oh, so sad.
And she hits Miguel in the nuts with a chancla as she's.
Ew.
Yes.
Okay.
Nuts.
Amy says, I thought the guy that disappeared was a crazy lesson. We should keep studying about history and ancestors so we don't forget them.
Yeah.
I think that's a good lesson too. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Do
suck.
you guys watch Battlestar Galactica?
I don't think we've ever watched
should.
any of it, but it's good sci-fi, right? I mean, that's what they say.
Yeah. I just found out that Edward James Olmos, who's one of the stars in that, was that old guy. And I was like, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question. Paul, what's your question? No, Paul's gonna go. Your question that you're gonna ask us.
So my question is, if you were to design I forget what they're called, but the spirit animals, like what would your design be?
Then you got to pick somebody. That's just how we've done it.
Since
the beginning.
Todd, you go first.
Well, I mean, they got to be like the Mexican colors, right? Like all the fluorescent everything's, the like body paint.
I mean, it's your spirit animal.
Yeah. So yeah, that colors, but on a luck dragon. So it's a luck dragon.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What is that face? I hate it.
It's your husband. That's a face it is.
Yeah. I forgot. I love it.
Does the luck dragon still talk?
Yeah.
No, that's pretty creepy.
talks like a Rastafarian, like a
Rastafarian,
because he's all super colorful.
He's got one of them hats, some dreads. All right, Jess, go for it before I turn don't go too far.
Okay. So I just thought I would like mine to be something that's indestructible and that would never give up on me. Todd, do you have my picture that I sent you?
No, you sent it to me just before we started the show.
Well, I have
just hold it up on your phone.
I can't. My phone's dead.
Oh, I could probably.
I had this picture of a what's it called? Honey badger. Oh, thanks, Todd. You can really tell what's going on there. Thanks. So I would want it to be a honey badger because then if there was like a cobra spirit animal, it could like take it down, or a porcupine. Oh yeah, by the way, the picture is of a honey badger walking around with a bunch of giant porcupine quills all over its body like nothing happened.
Oh, that's what it was.
Wow.
I thought he was like wearing a helmet.
Sounds gruesome.
Honey badgers are super tough, and that's the only kind of animal I would trust to be my spirit animal.
They don't give a crap, man.
Nice.
They don't.
They don't at all. At all. Okay. Paul, your answer.
Question.
I know.
Mine. What?
I know.
Mine is probably. So I have this weird thing with like birds of prey. Like I want to get into falconry someday. Like it's just a huge time.
Be that guy at medieval times, with the falcon.
Yeah, like the. So it would be like a bright orange falcon with maybe like cat legs or something. Because why not?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Falcat.
That's it.
Come to me, Falcat.
Mine's Falcat.
Yeah. Whoop. Does it sound like a cat or a falcon?
A cat. That's fine. A cat. But when it lands on it, scratches the crap out of you.
Like a normal cat would.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. That reminds me of the cat that jumped out of my car on Sunday. Just parked the car outside.
Oh,
yeah, she parked the car outside and she left the window down overnight. And while we were sleeping, a cat made its home inside of our car. And I opened the door and a cat jumped out the window on the other side. So
it was still at home? You didn't take it anywhere?
No. I just got in. I was just getting in the car to leave, and then a cat jumped out of the car. That does not belong to me. We don't own a cat.
My friend, quick story. My friend Adam actually took a possum with him somewhere.
Oh my god!
That would be so scary.
And he picked up his friend, and the friend ended up decapitating the possum when he got into the car with the car door.
Oh,
crazy
gosh! Oh man!
Oh,
You heard it
man,
here
that's like
first,
something that would
Triers.
happen
Unless
in
you heard it from Paul or his friends before. Other than that, you heard it here first.
man.
That was an amazing story. I am glad you
It's
told
worth
that
sharing.
story. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Jessica, what's your question?
My question. So in the movie, what's the kid's name? I forgot.
Miguel.
Miguel.
Right? It's Miguel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he like feels like this connection to music, and he feels like it's just calling to him, and you later find out that it's because it's been in his family or whatever. So my question is, if do you have a passion or an interest that you feel like has been instilled in you from a ancestor? Tad.
Cad.
I don't know. I do a lot of teaching crap. My like great grandpa was a teacher guy. He taught at like a university or something, I think.
Oh,
But
a teacher guy.
But the real thing I was thinking about with like I do computer programming, like I teach people how to make like Android apps for a living. And I was thinking about it, and it's like that's something that my dad does, and he did when I was a kid, and he never taught me about it, but he always like taught me like logical stuff, you know. He had like this book of logic puzzles that he gave me when I was like really young, and like riddles to solve, and always like teaching me like you know, how to like think and that kind of stuff, like using your brain to solve problems. And I got into programming. It had nothing, I felt like it had nothing to do with my dad, but I think it was a skill that like, you know, was in my veins. So I don't know, it wasn't as good as Paul's story, but it was definitely a story.
That wasn't
Not
my
even
story.
close.
I stole it.
You're allowed to share anecdotes. It's a thing. Your friend's story is your story. Popcorn Paul.
Okay, Paul.
Okay. Sorry, there's a train going by. If you hear the train.
I heard it.
So mine is kind of like no-brainer because I'm like super into dancing, and that's just my thing. But I think not so much the dancing, but the actual appreciation of jazz music. I think it's something that I didn't know that my grandpa was into until way later when I like found albums. And I was like, what? Grandpa listens to the same music I do. And it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And then my uncle actually was a jazz musician.
Cool.
So I think it's like in the family. So
That's so cool.
Yeah.
that also could be because it's older music. But I'm going with that.
All those old
They
fogies.
just listen to the modern music of the time that they were alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Jess.
All right. So I've always like wanted to have a farm. Like we went to visit this like farmland area in Oregon, and I'm like, I just want a farm so bad. I want like animals and plants, and I want to harvest my own food. And I've been getting really into gardening, and I just realized when I was thinking of this question that that's like my grandpa passed away before I was born. So I never knew him, but he lived in Utah, and it was kind of like a heavily populated area of Utah. It's like Salt Lake, but he was super into farming. So even though they lived in Salt Lake, they had like this little farm area, and they would like slaughter pigs in their yard, and people would call the cops on them because it was like a city. And so I realized that probably comes from, it's in my blood. And then
It's
also
blood.
my other grandpa was super into woodworking, and I'm like, I have all these weird random like things that I'm just like, I just want to learn how to do it. And then I realized like, oh yeah, my grandpa did that. And so I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. Woodworking and farming.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, that's our random questions, and I gotta go back to this previous comment because it's a good comment. So Paul told the story about this possum being decapitated in the car, and Jordan says that's a sure way to get possum ghost in your car.
It's like, what would it do? It's just like, plays dead.
You suck. You suck. Oh, man. So good. Okay, well, that's it for... Oh, crap. We didn't think of a movie for next week, Jess. Oh, my gosh.
La La Land.
I guess we could watch La La Land. Can you handle it?
I saw like famous 5 seconds of it, and I already feel like I'm going to hate it.
I feel like if I made a prediction, I feel like you guys both would not like it. But I love that movie.
We can do it. You want to do it?
It's by the same guys as The Greatest Showman.
Oh, no. Man. Oh, yeah, because there was the thing about from the visionary lyricists or whatever of La La Land.
But tonally very different. Very different. So...
Can we handle it, Jess, or should we change it at some point and announce it later? I don't know. I'm nervous about La La Land, but
I don't think I'm ready to sit through another musical that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hate.
Yeah.
I need a couple more weeks, and then.
I mean, it's Ryan Gosling, if that's any selling it at all.
I'm not even one of those chicks that thinks he's hot. He just looks like a normal person.
He looks like a good-looking normal person. Jordan says, ew. Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to think. That's a good suggestion. Maybe we'll come back to it.
Yeah, I think I just need a couple weeks of movies that I like.
So we want to watch movies that are like people will tune into the show, not stuff that they haven't heard of before. And that La La Land seems like a really popular one that people have opinions on and want to discuss.
Yeah, we'll do that sometime.
Andy says Police Academy.
Yes.
All right. Jordan says Pray on It. Mary, have you ever seen Where the Heart Is? I think it'd make a good one for Mother's Day. Too late. This was our Mother's Day episode.
Where the Heart Is?
Have you guys seen Life is Beautiful?
I don't know.
I've seen it. I have seen it. Yeah, I was telling you about that.
Movie, yeah.
Let's watch Life is Beautiful for this week. Okay. You sold us, Paul. I've seen it before, I think, and I remember really liking it. So
it'll be the second movie you cry in.
Yeah. I don't think I cried in that one. Before.
Yeah, but you were probably like a teenager. You're probably like,
I don't know.
It doesn't have like music and.
I was just as much of an a-hole then as I am now. So.
Really?
Anyway.
I tried to change you.
Oh. Anyway, that concludes the show. We're gonna do Life
what about
is
the try again segment?
I don't want to do that segment. We've been going for 48 minutes and Paul has some dancing to do.
No.
Oh, you're done?
I'm good. Whatever.
Oh.
What is the try again segment?
Well, we just talk about crap that we've tried recently.
That's why you got to talk about your back scratcher thingy. Remember?
Oh, I've got a good one for that though.
What? Paul has a back scratcher? Who has me?
It's Paul. It's not you.
Oh, I was like, I haven't scratched my back.
I have a back scratcher thing. What are you talking about?
What?
That massager thing you posted a picture of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a cool back massager thing that it's
It
cool.
looks like a torture device.
Yeah. No, I tried modern dancing last night.
Ooh.
It was something. No, I loved it. It was just not, I'm just no good at it, like at all. And that's all.
Well, that's cool. Because you
Good to
normally
try
do
new
like
things.
swing, right? Do you like mostly do swing or what's your, I know you do swing dancing for sure.
Yeah, I do. I do swing dancing. It's almost all swing dancing. Hunter does tap and she's teaching me.
Cool.
But other than that,
Awesome.
yeah. Thanks.
That's fun.
Yeah. Jess, what did you try?
I don't have anything good, but I did try one thing that's not that exciting, but it's really exciting to me. I tried making smoothies with coffee creamer. Not all coffee creamer because it's super high calorie, but just a little splash of like French vanilla coffee creamer. It makes it really yummy.
Nice. That's awesome.
It just gives it like that perfect like creamy flavor that smoothies are supposed to have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Todd?
I don't know. I don't try. I'm like the most boring guy. I just do the same thing. I try a new video game now and then.
Did you try God of War?
I haven't tried God of War yet. I will. I'm gonna buy it for sure. I'm deep into Monster Hunter and still having a great time with that. I'm just about to get that platinum trophy. So satisfying. But yeah, I think I might get that Detroit game this month too.
Oh, I've heard I've heard great things.
I got the demo and it's pretty impressive. So yeah, I try lots of games, but like real life stuff, I don't. I tried counting calories this week. I've been counting my calories. You guys like that? Huh?
Yeah, that's
Todd,
exciting.
do you mind if I plug my show? Is that okay?
Oh yeah. I was told. I actually forgot. I planned on asking you that. Yeah, please plug anything you want to plug.
Okay, I was gonna say you can try that, but you've already watched it.
I did. I watched it. I had never even heard of that game Astroneers that you're playing until.
Yeah, it's super fun. But anyways, I'm on Twitch. You go to twitch.tv/Paul Dances, and I dance. I like broadcast my dancing and some gaming, and yeah.
I saw it. I watched the stream. I saw the dancing and the game. I watched a little bit of you playing Astroneers and a little bit of what was that other game? The cooking game.
Oh, Overcooked.
Overcooked. Yeah.
You two should play that. It is.
I actually bought it. I bought it for full price, and we never even played it yet. So.
Oh, maybe that's what we'll try for next week.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. That'd be fun to try. That would be very fun. Okay, so that's it for this week. And so we'll talk about that other movie, Life is Beautiful, next week. And I'll probably try to get the crap together with the stream. If you have any feedback on how we're doing that, like, what you'd like to see with our new setup, please don't hesitate to let us know. Remember, you can find us at Try Again Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.